All right, we're going to talk about rabbit health today. In today's video, we're going to discuss 3 easy ways to monitor your rabbit's health and ensure that they live a happy lifestyle. So stick around. Hey guys, welcome back to another Slightly Redneck video. Again, my name is Chris, and today we're going to discuss rabbit health. If you're keeping rabbits like me, even though I'm keeping them for meat, I want to make sure that they live a healthy and happy life. And I'm going to talk about 3 different things that you can do that you can monitor their health with. Now, the first one I'm going to talk about is feed. And I've done another video on how much you should be feeding your rabbits. I'll put a link up here. You can check that out and go watch that video and get an idea of how much you should feed. What I'm going to talk about today is when you go to feed your rabbits, monitor their feed, and if you look inside their feeder, it should be empty. They should have cleaned up all their feed from the night before. Now, these other rabbits I've already fed, so I'm not going to bring you in close to them, but this feeder is empty. I don't need to show you a shot of that, but what I'm going to show you is whenever I feed this rabbit, and she's probably a little skittish because I'm standing up here talking right now, but when I feed her, she should come to the front of the feeder, and you can see her kind of perk up. Maybe you can see that on camera. Black rabbit doesn't show up very well on camera, but if I step back for a second, so that's what you should see. You should see an empty feeder when you go to feed your rabbits, and you should see that rabbit coming up to the feeder once you put feed in it. Now, not ravenous, not like diving head first into it. Okay, so if your rabbit does not come right up to the feeder, and this rabbit is just that way. When I checked her feeder this morning, she had still had feed left over. I put a little bit of feed in, adjusted down just a little bit, but she didn't go to the feeder to eat. So that gets me a little bit concerned. The first thing that you want to check if that happens, if they did not clean up their feed and you're not overfeeding them, is the water supply, and make sure that they're getting fresh water to their cage. Now, she is now, but it just so happens that when I came out here yesterday morning, same thing had happened with her, and I checked the water and there was no water coming out. There was a big air bubble in this hose, and I had to pull the hose off and kind of adjust it a little bit to get the water to flow through. I had let the system run dry is why. So that's the first thing. Now, once I fixed that water, she went right to the water, started drinking, and then she immediately went and started eating. Rabbits will not eat if they don't have access to water. So that's the first thing to check if that happens. All right, so if you've checked their water supply and they've got fresh water and access to it, then the next thing to check would be the droppings in the bottom. And I know this is kind of gross. This hadn't been cleaned out for a couple of days. It's on the chores for today. But you just want to make sure that they look nice and firm and hard, and there's not diarrhea problems or anything like that. And these all look fine. I don't see any problems down there, so no sense in looking at that anymore. So you've checked their feed, and you know their feed is going good. You've checked their water, and you know they've got access to clean water, and they're eating their feed. So the next thing you want to check is their ears. And usually when a rabbit sits in their cage, they'll turn their ears towards you, and you just want to look down inside their ears and make sure you don't see any scabs or anything like that. Her ears look nice and pink, so nothing to worry about there. If you do, then it most likely means that there's ear mites, and I've got a video on how to treat ear mites. So check the link that's going to show up here, and you can watch that video on how to treat ear mites. Okay, so the next thing that you want to check on a rabbit is their feet, and specifically their back feet. This guy's right up here at the front of the cage. Hopefully he'll turn around and run back to the back here in a minute. But you're looking for sore hocks, and it's pretty easy to spot. Whenever he goes moving around, he'll expose the back of his feet, and you're just going to look for spots on his feet. And you can watch when he moves. There, he's showing us his feet right there, and they look fine. There's nothing wrong with them. It'll be pretty obvious if there is. There'll be big spots on them like that are bald and in red, and you'll know that you've got a sore hawk issue. Now, if you do detect a problem with sore hawks, it's my personal belief that there's really not much you can do about it. I do have a video on that. Click right up there, and that link that's going to show up there, and it'll take you to discussing my thoughts on how to treat sore hawks and how to prevent sore hawks and what causes it. All right, so leave a comment below, hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see more tips like this, and let me know, did I miss something? Is there something else you should be monitoring whenever you're checking for your rabbit's health, or an easy way to treat some of the most common illnesses? Thank you all for watching, and as always, God bless.